Jeremy if he's got new tights.
I'm sure he'll be glad you noticed.
Let's have a good seamstress.
Still no word on David Young. Surprisingly enough.
One of the more straightforward guys and upright guys you're going to find in pro wrestling. That is the Messiah, the spine buster, David Young, but alas has not called in. He's scheduled to be the main event here this evening against Wildside heavyweight champ, No Pain, Train Iceberg, but David Young, no Encaso. What gives?
It's interesting and coincidental. Iceberg made an unscheduled appearance last week on Wildside television.
That's the way he likes it, I'm told.
As he attacked poor Hot Stuff Hernandez, coming off a huge victory. Of course, we know Hernandez has that guaranteed title shot against the Iceberg somewhere down the line. When he's going to exercise it, who knows? But the Iceberg was obviously concerned about that match after last week's occurrence, because we saw that Iceberg did everything in his power to prevent Hernandez from ever appearing in a Wildside arena again.
And everything in his power involved a coat hanger choking the life out of Hot Stuff Hernandez till he was vomiting blood here on the floor of the NWA arena. And frankly, from what I heard this week of Hot Stuff Hernandez, he is fit to be tied. And could you imagine what an angry Hot Stuff Hernandez is like? My God.
He's fit to be tied and still in a hospital bed, Steven. Unfortunately, he suffered some severe damage there to his throat and some of his internal organs there, which caused the vomiting of the blood. But Hot Stuff Hernandez is going to get out of that hospital one day. I promise you that. Well, that day, unfortunately for us, is not today.
That would be a shame, I tell you. Sometimes you never really realize in pro wrestling, sometimes some people are, or no-shows, people with transportation problems or health problems for some reason. And I can imagine a better, suitable replacement for David Young than, say, a Hot Stuff Hernandez. But alas, that's not to take place here this evening. But I'm not quite sure what is.
I mean, you got so many athletes on the shelf. Stone Mountain may never be in Wildside again. Bailey got a restraining order at him taken to prison. I mean, I don't know. There's literally nobody left. What if David Young does not show up here tonight?
However, debonair Damian Adams has. And meets up with Josh Daniels, very unceremonious.
Leapfrog there by Adams. Reversal there. Adams catches Daniels off the ropes. There he comes. Hip toss. Nope. Blocked. Looks like Daniels going to take him over. Goes for a backslide. No, blocked again. He didn't block that. Back suplex. Beautifully executed. Very crisp. Very effective.
Daniels going back on the arm of debonair Damian Adams.
We got a three-way captain's tag team match coming up next, fans. Don't go anywhere. Scotty Wren, the ticking time bomb, won half the Wildside tag team titles, taking on Azrael of the Lost Boys and Jay Freeze. That's going to be one heck of a match.
You know, it's funny when I think of Ren and Tank as well as the Lost Boys as well as Future Shock, I have a hard time calling anybody captain, you know? That's a weird bunch. A funny breed, you know?
Jeremy Free with a Shining Wizard there into the corner. And, of course, all those teams coming up next in high contention for that ladder match. There's been signed for hardcore help with the Wildside Tag Team titles. Right now, Ren and Tank are the defending champions, and they've already got that spot as long as they hold on to those belts. But who's going to be the other team? Would it be the Dobbins brothers? It'll be very interesting to see those guys climb a ladder. Of course, after what we saw earlier in the program, I don't know if that's the case. The Dobbins brothers may very well be behind bars.
If there's a jail big enough to hold them.
It's one thing when you assault a wrestler. They have contracts with provisions in those contracts that state if you get hurt, it's nobody's liability. This was a paying fan sitting in the front row that the Dobbins brothers mauled, and that's something you just can't do. That's where you draw the line, Steven.
Frankly, that is, but try telling the Dobbins brothers that. Try telling Al Getz that. Try telling Al Getz anything.
Still scheduled for a Wildside title match. No word yet from David Young. We've tried to contact him on his cell phone, both on his cell phone and at his home. We've had no luck.
And Iceberg sitting like a Buddha on his throne backstage.
Just waiting. I mean, there's plenty of game young wrestlers in the Wildside locker room, but how many of them would make a fair match against the Iceberg? I mean, how many of them could even give him a run for his money? That's the question. There's no doubt the talent back there, Steven.
Yeah, no argument here, but then again, it'd be something that Iceberg cannot prepare for. If it's somebody he has no idea who's on his way, be facing him for the Wildside Heavyweight Championship.
Steven, he's a 600-pound beast with no remorse and a lust for blood. It's only been two times. I don't think he cares if he's ready for it.
I'm sure he doesn't care, but he's been pinned twice. Sometime down the line, there may be a third. Could it be tonight? Who will it be? And maybe David Young will arrive at the last minute. I certainly hope so.
That's certainly what I'm hoping on. Damian Adams misses a moonsault. Jeremy V out of the way.
And Damian Adams didn't miss that moonsault. Not very debonair-like. Slowly rolling his way over to the tagging hands of Don Juan. And this Don Juan, what a case he is. In comes Josh Daniels and Don Juan mixing it up.
Josh Daniels goes for a clothesline. Misses there, but connects on the elbow. Don Juan in a world of hurt. Big suplex.
Of the snap variety.
Move to the midsection. What is with this guy's dancing? Does he have chlamydia or something? German suplex.
Don't tell the ideas group at Wildside about chlamydia. That's the last thing we need. Oh, and it's breaking down in the middle of the ring. Kid Kool's going to town, one of the Wildside mainstays.
Six of hungry young athletes here. Some have made their name in Wildside, some are trying. There's the Kool Crusher. And that was all it took.
Yes, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winners, the team of Josh Daniels, Kid Kool, and Jeremy B.